Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Today, we're going to be breaking down yesterday's Sunday 7-game NBA slate. We had a couple games in the early, and then we had a 5-game main, had a couple of, maybe a turbo and a late mixed in there too. Overall, a really nice Sunday of basketball. I was able to just chill at the crib. Didn't have to work at all today. Went out and did a little bit of fixing on the caddy, and came home, sat with the baby girl, and watched a little bit of basketball. Had a really solid Sunday. Now we are ready to jump into the next week. We had a profitable week last week. It started off pretty rough on Monday, but it balanced itself out. We had a profitable week. I'm very happy about that. And it is coming up. Man, we've got a really nice slate of games this week. I'm stoked, bro. I'm stoked about the games we have this week. We can start Monday. I know we have a 12-game slate, a monster 12-game slate. That's going to be a really nice one. There's a lot of point guard play that I really like in there. So, I'm a point guard. You know that. So, I'll be able to gauge, really well my core plays, get really solid player pools. And Tuesday, we've got what could be a day off. We only got a 3-game slate on Tuesday. We're gonna jump back hard into an 11-game slate on Wednesday. And you gotta think, man, this could be done differently. There's no way that we should have 3 games of basketball when we have that sandwiched by a 12-gamer and 11-gamer. Man, make it 8 games, bro. Get in my wheelhouse, man. Thursday got a nice 5-game slate. Friday an 8-game slate. I love 8-gamers. That's where I do a lot of my dirty work. And then Saturday we've got a big 12-game slate, but it's going to be starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. So that means it's going to be one of those choppy slates where we're probably going to have maybe a 7 or 8 game, maybe even a 9-game main. We're going to have to look and see how DraftKings or FanDuel does that when it comes to it. And then Sunday, we've got a 6-game slate that kicks off at 3:30. So a very nice week of games. You can go ahead and plot out your bankroll management strategy, making sure that you stay right around that 10% area. Honestly, tonight, last night, Sunday really wasn't. I wasn't in love with the 3-game slate. I just wasn't really in love with the 5 games that we had on demand. I wasn't in love with those games. There was a few games that I just really did not want to target. So it turned kind of into a 3-game option for me because you know me, I like to stack. On a 5 games or less, I am stacking. I don't put out a traditional core 4. What I would do is I just let you know in stack options where I'd like to go. We had a couple of guys in the sweatshop that definitely used those and really got to the money. So that is also to the good. We are going to go with our regular formatting of the show. Normally, I would talk about those core 4 plays, but as you know, we stacked on the slate. That's 5 games or less. So we're going to jump into the feature 4 plays tonight. Then I'm going to take you over just to do a brief recap of last night's games. That way we can get a chance to take a look at what these guys are doing, because I don't think that everybody can watch every NBA game. I make a way that I can watch every NBA game. I watch every game, and I know a lot of you don't have the time. You got kids, wife, family, job, things like that. All the things that I have. So that's why I like to report. I like to get those things and report them back to you, because what I do, once I go ahead and look over the player pricing and jump into the point totals, man, I think I make a few lines, sleep on it, kind of lock myself into guys that I really like before I go out the next morning and I start to do all of the research and look at everybody else who the industry is trying to put us on, who all of the sharks and the motherfuckers that have 150 lineups, who they're trying to tell us to play throughout the day. And then, I get that information and I bring that back to the shop. So that's the way I do it. Let's go ahead and jump into that feature 4. These are feature 4 plays tonight. These are the most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop, in the Facebook VIPs, as well as on Twitter. We're going to start with the Who Dat scoring all them points over there player tonight. And you know what? Tyler Ulis is becoming a thing, man. This dude is fucking good. The dude is good. And we're not even seeing Brandon Jennings anymore. I'm just not Brandon. I don't even know his name. We're not seeing him anymore. Brandon Knight. We're not seeing him anymore. This is strictly, Bledsoe and Ulis, and sometimes Bledsoe and Ulis. They're really believing in this kid, man. And I know he was in a plus matchup against a guy who can't guard a fucking ham sandwich in Isaiah Thomas, but the offensive explosion that this dude was able to administer later on in the game, getting that last second steal, knocking down the game winning shots. Stuff like that is where legends are made, bro. Like, Like it comes from plays like that, from sequences like that, when a guy that's kind of not highly owned, wasn't a great high lottery pick, but a rookie, a scrappy young guy that wants to play very well. He did that, had an awesome game. Was only 12% owned in most GPPs. 3.9K was the salary. He went out and got 32.5 DraftKings points. That was an excellent showing from the who that scored on points over there play tonight. Tyler Eulis, shout out to Eulis. Next, we're going to talk about the how did I miss that play. Now, all day I had been waffling what how I was going to roster the Washington Wizards. I thought it was going to be a contrarian play. Now, I had a great idea. It was going to be a contrarian play to play any of those guys because most people were going to be invested in the games with the bigger point totals. Especially once Vucevic was ruled out, I thought that people would think, man, this game's probably going to blow out in the favor of the Washington Wizards. I'm not going to fuck with this game. I immediately jumped on Biombo, of course, like most of us should have done. I jumped on Biombo. He was very cheap, 3K. This is a guy that was a starting center in the league. And, so I was able to get I had one lineup where I rolled out Wall, Beal, I had Gortat, and then I had Otto Porter. Well, when the news broke about Biombo starting for Vucevic, well, I came off of Gortat, went down to Vucevic, and then I moved off of Otto Porter, which turned out to be pretty good. So I ended up having this lineup started as a Washington stack, but only thing I had from Washington in it was Porter. I mean, was Beal and Wall. And how the fuck did I miss Bojan Bogdanovic? Ever since this dude escaped the prison, which is the Brooklyn Nets, he has not missed a fucking shot. This dude went nuts today. At 7% ownership, very low ownership, 4.4K. Dude went out and scored 34.5 DraftKings points. Awesome game we saw from Bojan Bogdanovic, and that is why he is tonight. How did I miss that play of the night? The next guy I'm going to talk about is the heat check play of the night. Now, this doesn't have to be, the highest scoring guy on the slate. It doesn't have to be the guy that costs the most, the highest salary guy. No, this goes out to the dude that just goes out and fucking balls harder than everybody else. And I'm telling you, when you can go up and come down with 24 fucking rebounds, 16 points, an awesome game tonight, Rudy Gobert, you are the heat check play of the night. Dude went out and balled. 15% ownership, 7K was the salary, brought back 60 DraftKings points, and just so happened to lead all scorers in points. Excellent game from you. Awesome showing for Rudy Gobert, and he's the heat check play of the night. Now we must talk about that one motherfucker. Now, there's going to be a few times during the season where hoes get tired. Okay? You got to understand this, man. Hoes get tired. 13K was the price on this dude, man. And he brought back 50 points. And I ain't even gonna go too hard on him. You know what? He's not even tonight's Snowflake. But I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention that sometimes hoes get tired. Now this man goes out every day, night in and night out, plays with the speed and the agility and the strength of a fucking animal. I mean, this dude goes out every night and leaves it all on the court. You cannot expect this dude to make value like he did, scoring 90 points all the time. So the man is a tired hoe right now. The man need a rest. He need another All-Star break, and that's why I'm not gonna put the Snowflake of the night on you, Mr. Westbrook. I'm not gonna do that to you because you're tired, and I understand. I get tired sometimes myself. I understand how it goes, but tonight, that was bad. That was bad. That was bad. But the Snowflake of the night is somebody else. Nerlens, get 23% on. 23% on. 5.4K. You go out and bring back 18.25 DraftKings points. You know what that means, right, Nerlens? That means you ran off on the motherfucking plug. And tonight, you's a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass. And I ain't gonna roster your bitch ass again. That's why Philadelphia traded your ass. You're inconsistent. You're too inconsistent. How the fuck you go out at 23% ownership and bring back 18 DraftKings points? Man, you ain't shit. You're a snowflake ass. 5.4K. Then you had the other dude. He was 5.4K. He fucking balled. Scored twice the points you did. And this man wouldn't even been the damn lottery pick. You're a snowflake ass. You's a motherfucking snowflake, Nerlens Noel, and I ain't gonna roster your ass again. Now let's move on with the rest of the motherfucking show. Now, what I like to do at this point in the show is go ahead and give you a look at my very best DraftKings lineup. This is to show you, man, the continuity, the consistency, the fact that you could trust me, man. The guys that I'm talking about are the guys that I'm playing. If I tell you I'm on John Wall and nobody else is on John Wall, but I tell you I'm on him, when I open my lineup, that's who the fuck you're gonna see. It's not that bullshit where cats would say, "Oh, I like this guy, I like this guy, I like this guy." Yeah, of course you like everybody. You got 150 fucking lineups. You like everybody. You can afford to like everybody. I'm a working man just like you. I can't afford to like everybody. I have to have a set group of motherfuckers who I like and who I'm playing. I can't afford to like every fucking dude on the slate because I don't have the bankroll. I'm not rich. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and check out. Bam. We're gonna go ahead and check it out. My very best DraftKings lineups on tonight, and I did hit the 300 club. It was a profitable night for the boy, but not extremely profitable, man. This was, and you know what? I just didn't have a lot of comfort with the slate. I really didn't. The slate just wasn't very comfortable for me, and that's why I was able to kind of go light on it. I didn't do what I had originally planned, like go ham and just have a bunch of fucking lineups. I didn't want to roll out 10 lineups because I just wasn't comfortable with the slate, and that's a key. Only play when you're comfortable, bro. If you're not comfortable with a slate, if you're not comfortable with a player, don't play that shit. Don't play that motherfucker. You work too hard for your money to waste it. I when you look at your roster, I want you to be able to say, man, I have this lineup and I feel entirely comfortable about every motherfucker who I'm playing. I want you to look at this lineup and say, you know what? This is if I lose like this, I don't have no problem because this is my favorite. This is all of the plays that I really like. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. This is my very best DraftKings lineup. We're gonna start this one. Of course, we talked about it. It started off as a Washington stack, but it turned into a New Orleans stack once that Bismack Biyombo news came out. So we started John Wall, Bradley Beal. Pretty solid game there from Bradley Beal. 43 from John Wall, 48 from Brad Beal. We had a few of the New Orleans guys that I had stacked in there. DeMarcus Cousins, Etwan Moore, as well as Solomon Hill. I kind of went cheap on that one. And I had Amir Johnson, who I thought was going to be a solid matchup against the Phoenix front court. Bismack, of course, when that news broke, 3K, we had to jump all over that. And of course, I had Isaiah Thomason, who scored 51 DraftKings points. Now, this lineup finished with 308 DraftKings points. Pretty good to cash whoever I had of that. So that was very solid. So let's go ahead and jump into a really quick recap of last night's games. And like I said, we do this, man, so that we can have a good look at what everybody has done. Because I'm telling you, man, there's nothing can help you in your roster builds as much as knowing who the fuck these guys are, knowing how well they play. Just the eye test. The eye test is paramount. It's paramount. I'm telling you, it's one of the major factors in being able to roster guys with the confidence it takes to really put your money on the line. So let's go and get the logo popping, and we will jump right into the recap of last night's games. Now we're gonna start. Of course, in Atlanta, where the Indiana Pacers came to town, and this was a pretty good game, man. It started off as like a shit show, man. It was very slow. The players were kind of lethargic, like they was at the club the night before. This is Atlanta. Games on Sunday morning. They were probably at Magic City at the Blue Flame, getting it in, making it rain, and they really didn't come to play in the first half. But the game did get better, and I guess you could tell the only cat that was in his room reading the Bible while everybody else was at the strip club buying hoes was the big homie Paul George, because Paul George went off. He had a solid night's rest, and he came out in 38 minutes, dropped 34 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal. He shot 12 for 19 from the field. That is 63%. Awesome. 6 of those shots were 3-pointers. He went 6 from 9 from 3-point and 4 or 5 from the free throw line. Really good game there. CJ Miles, 13 and 5 to go with 2 assists. Also had 3 for 10 shooting from behind the arc. Pretty good game there. Didn't see a great game from Jeff Teague. He played 31 minutes. He had 16 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists to go with a steal and a block. He shot 50% from the field, but just did not have a really, really great game at that price point. Next guy I'm going to be talking about is Thad Young, man. Thad Young, since that injury, has not been the same player. This was not a good showing at all. This was like the 4th or 5th bad showing in a row for Thad Young, man. In 23 minutes, he had 4 and 5 rebounds to go with 2 assists, and he only hit 2 of 5 shots. Only took 5 shots the entire game, and it wasn't a very good showing for Thad Young. Miles Turner, not a great one for him either. In 29 minutes, he had 5 and 5 rebounds with 1 assist, 2 blocks, while shooting 2 for 7 from the field. Not a great game there for him. Also, Monte Ellis off of the bench in 22 minutes had 3 rebounds to go with 3 assists, 1 steal. Not a great game there from him. He shot 1 for 6 from the field. And Glenn Robinson III, man, he had 11 points, 4 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block in 23 minutes to shoot 64% from the field. That was pretty solid shooting game there for him. Also hit 3 of 5 3-point shots. On the Atlanta Hawks side, Kent Bazemore is petitioning to die again in 19 minutes. He had 2 points and 3 rebounds with 1 assist and 1 steal. We're going to keep him on our radar. We're going to have to, kill him again. He's going to have to die. So I'm sorry about that. Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench in 34 minutes had 24 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Pretty good game from him. We saw a nice double-double from Paul Millsap. He had 23 and 10 to go with 2 assists and 2 steals while shooting 50% from the field. Did not hit a 3-point shot, but he got to the line 12 times, only converted 7 of those free throws into points. Not a great free throw shooting game there from him. Stefalosha had a really solid game. Thabo in 35 minutes had 12 and 6 to go with 4 assists, 2 steals while shooting 33% from the field. He had 2 of 6 3-point shots and hit 2 of the 2 free throws that he did take. Dwight Howard looked pretty solid in the beginning of the game, but it kind of tailed off. In 35 minutes, he had 9 and 14 to go with 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. He only took 3 shots the entire game. He shot 66%. We need more post scoring from Dwight Howard. Really did. I mean, if he scores more in the post, then the Atlanta Hawks win this game. They definitely win this game. Not a great showing there from him. Dennis Schroeder in 36 minutes had 18 points, 1 board, 7 assists, 3 steals, while shooting 43% from the field. He did hit 2 of 5 3-point shots. Not a horrible game there from him. The next game I'm going to talk about is my New York Knicks going the distance at MSG with the Golden State Warriors. Thought this game was going to be a blowout. I did not want to have too much involvement with it because I couldn't gauge it correctly. But we saw Matt Barnes, man, in his second game as a Golden State Warrior again. 18 minutes, he had 3 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Not a horrible game there from him. Draymond Green had 13 and 7 with 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Not good for his price point. And Jaja Pachulia played 18 minutes. He had 10 and 1 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Steph Curry, a really solid game there. In 36 minutes, he had 31, 8 to go with 6 assists, 2 steals, while shooting 45% from the field. He took 13 3-point shots and hit 5 of them. That is a ton of 3-point shots to take, bro. Klay Thompson in 37 minutes had 29 and 4 with 1 assist and 1 steal while shooting 38% from the field. And, a lot of us, we automatically assumed that when Kevin Durant was injured, that, now we're going to see that Curry we were seeing last year when the dude was like almost 12K because he was just raining down threes and breaking record for 3-point shots. But these cats are not really shooting that well. I mean, this was better than the last performance because we had, Klay Thompson go 4 for 9 from behind the arc today. But, man, I mean, these guys are not lighting it up the way they had been in seasons past, man. The Splash Brothers, they need a tune-up. That's for damn sure. They need a tune-up. Andre Iguodala in 30 minutes has 6 and 3 with 4 assists and 2 steals while shooting 2 for 5 from the field. He did not attempt a shot from the free throw line, but he did hit 2 of 5 3-point shots. Pretty good game from him. On the New York Knicks side, we saw a nice one from Kristaps Porzingis. He led the team in minutes, 40 of them to be exact. He had 24 and 15 with 2 assists and 2 blocks, and it's so good to finally start to see Kristaps Porzingis work on the board. This guy should be starting at the center spot. No question about it. He's a fucking center. Yeah, he's a little, smaller, doesn't have that bulky frame yet, but that's going to come in time, man. This dude knows how to play the center position. He should do that. He has a very special skill set that can be used at that center spot. Like him and Jokic are very similar to me in the fact that they are very heady players, know what to do when they get their back to the basket, but he just doesn't have that bulk and that frame that Jokic has just yet. And of course, and he's not as good as a passer as well. But Carmelo Anthony, man, he still flaked the fuck out. He played 35 minutes, had 15 and 6 to go with 2 assists and 2 blocks. Not a good game there from him. Lance Thomas, he did get the start. He did not score a fucking point, but he had 7 rebounds to go with 2 assists. A horrible game from him, even at that very low price point. And Derrick Rose in 34 minutes, he had 28 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 1 steal. Shot 50% from the field and hit 10 of 11 free throws. He was attacking the basket getting those fouls, absorbing the contact, and going to the line and knocking down shots. Now, what I'd like to see a little bit more from a guy like Derrick Rose is the facilitation of the ball, actually, being a true point guard, and that's something that had eluded him his entire career. He definitely could be a good scorer, a slasher to the basket, but we're gonna need to see more, more point guard play from this guy if we look for the Knicks, offense as a whole to improve, and to all the players, for all the guys to be utilized. Because tonight, as we can see, we only saw a great game from two guys, Kristaps and Derrick Rose, and they did not play very well off of each other. So Ron Baker had a pretty solid game in 22 minutes, 9 points, 5 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Justin Holiday came off the bench, and in 15 minutes, he had 10 and 3 goals and assists. Not too much else to talk about there. Next game I'm going to talk about, this was a part of the main slate. This is the first game in the main. It is the Phoenix Suns at the crib, taking on the Boston Celtics. This was a very entertaining game, very, very good game. We saw a lot of things in this game that can help us going forward for the rest of the season. And we're going to start on the Boston side, where Jay Crowder had a solid double-double at his price point in 32 minutes. He had 16 and 10 to go with 1 assist. Also hit 6 of 10 free throws. 6 of 10 field goals. Hit 2 of 5 from behind the arc. Pretty solid game there. Amir Johnson, man, a couple of rebounds short of that double-double bonus. He had 13 and 8 to go with 3 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Pretty solid game all around. Kind of filled up the stat sheet there. Also, we had Jonas Jerebko, who started the game. For what reason, I do not know. He only had 1 point. He had 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Not a great game from him. And Jaylen Brown had a nice one in 29 minutes. 14 and 6 to go with 3 assists, 1 steal, while shooting 50% from the field. And Isaiah Thomas finally had an Isaiah Thomas game. Came out and had a really solid fourth quarter. But he ended up getting his pocket picked. This game should have definitely gone into overtime. Or maybe he hit some insane half-court shot. But Tyler, you just ripped him and then hit the game-winning 3. So Isaiah, 32 minutes, he had 35 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, shot 40% from the field, and hit 5 of 12 3-point shots. And you know what? The same thing goes for Isaiah Thomas. I remember, him being able to make value in a lot of spots by getting double-doubles. And over the last 15 to 20 games, I like to say, the dude is not distributing the ball. He's just looking to score. He is just shooting, looking to score. And I think a lot of that has to do with Avery Bradley not being on the floor. Because Avery Bradley is sort of like a release valve, sort of like a tight end in football, where he is always close enough on the floor to Isaiah Thomas to where if Isaiah gets in any trouble, he can always make the smart play, give it to Avery Bradley, and let him slash to the basket or pull up and knock down that mid-range jump shot. But without Avery Bradley, man, I think him having to score the ball is what's been really tearing them up lately, and it's gonna pose some wear and tear on Isaiah as well. I mean, he got hit in the head in this game and laid on the floor for quite a few seconds. So it's a very, very tough position that he's playing. As you know, I love the point guard position, so I do watch these guys very closely, and we've got to see a little bit less of the scoring load being taken on by a guy like Isaiah Thomas. Marcus Smart in 27 minutes had 11 and 3 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. Not a great game there. Terry Rozier, who I think is better than Jaylen Brown, only played 19 minutes. He had 14 and 4 with 1 steal while shooting 5 for 9 from the field and hit 4 of 5 3-point shots. Pretty solid game there from him at his price point. On the Phoenix Suns side, now T.J. Warren has continued to string together a nice little streak of games, man. I mean, this wasn't a world beater game for T.J. Warren, but there was a time where we were like, yo, is T.J. Warren even good anymore? Because he started off the season so great, and then he tailed off, and now he's picking back up. I think that the move with P.J. Tucker really enhanced his game, enhanced his minutes. I mean, he's consistently up in the high 20s or low 30s in minutes in each game. So I like what we're seeing from T.J. Warren. The price on him really doesn't go up very much because his ownership doesn't see high heights and he doesn't score out of this world. So he's always within the realm of you need a mid-level guy at a small forward or power forward position. We can lock him in there. So T.J. Warren at 32 minutes had 14 and 7 with 1 assist, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. He shot 60% from the field. Took a couple 3-point shots, didn't hit any of those. Marcus Chris is another guy that I really like. The dude is pretty good. Marcus Chris is pretty good. Now, he played 25 minutes. He had 10 points and 6 boards. Also had a steal and 5 blocks. That's what really, helped him out to reach that value, man. That was a very solid game we saw from him. Alex Len What the fuck is going on with Alex Len? 13 minutes, he had 8 and 2 with 1 assist. Not a good game at all. Has Allen Williams taken over as the best big on this team? I would say so. I would say so. Now we know Allen Williams see a lot of second teams defenses, but still, man, I mean, he's balling. 30 minutes he played, he had 11 points, 15 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block. Dude is like a hometown favorite. Everybody loves him. He's from the actual Phoenix area. He shot 5 of 12 from the field. Only hit 1 of 3 free throws, but he had a very solid game. Very solid game there. Eric Bledsoe had a nice one. He damn near triple-doubled on him. 28 points. He had 6 boards, 9 assists in 34 minutes. Really solid game there from him. He did shoot 45% from the field, knocking down 9 of 20 field goals. Pretty solid game there. Tyler Ulis in 33 minutes. He had 20 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. And that is why tonight he was the who that scoring all the points over their play tonight. And it did not hurt that the last play of the game he picked the pocket of Isaiah Thomas and knocked down the game-winning three, splashed it in his face, and ran off to the bench in victory. That was a very, 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 very solid moment in the young career of a guy like Tyler Ulis. Next game I'm going to talk about should have went to overtime as well. When you're a DFS player like me, like you want every game. This game should go in overtime. Every game should go in overtime. No, it shouldn't. They lost or they won, whatever. The game should go in overtime. But I really thought this game was going to go to overtime. I really did. Next game we're talking about is the Washington Wizards playing host at the crib in DC to the Orlando Magic. This game seemed like it was going to be a drubbing in the beginning. I mean, the Orlando Magic jumped all over their motherfucking ass. It looked like it was going to be a blowout. But Bojan came off of the bench and just lit it the fuck up. So we're going to start on the Orlando side where Terrence Ross had the game tonight that we all thought he was going to have the other night. In 32 minutes, he had 20 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Shot 44% from the field, hit 4 of 10 3-point shots. Really solid game there. Aaron Gordon double-double from the power forward position. In 34 minutes, he had 15 and 11 with 3 assists, 1 steal. And I should have known once the Vucevic news came out that he was going to take on more of the scoring load in the front court because, you know, Bismack Biyombo is not a guy who shoots a lot. He doesn't score a lot. What he does is he puts the ball back when he gets the rebounds. Or, you know, if a solid point guard play is being made, he can bump his man, get open, catch, and lay it in real quick. He did a lot of that tonight. At 14 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. Was a very solid game we saw from Bismack Biyombo. As we talked about Aaron Gordon with his 15 and 11, he also had 3 assists and 1 steal. Pretty solid game there from him. Evan Fournier had 18 and 2 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal in his 35 minutes. And Elfrid Payton had a pretty decent game, 15 and 5 to go with 3 assists, 1 block, while shooting 7 for 8 from the field. We saw Mario Hezonja jump off the bench and knock down 3 quick 3-point shots. He did finish with 12 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. And we also saw a pretty decent game from Jeff Green. In 22 minutes, he had 12 and 2 while shooting 45% from the field. On the Washington side, what really freaked me out about this game was, you know, I was all over Brad Beal and John Wall. Those are probably my favorite 2 guys to play or favorite stacks to start with. And early in the first quarter, I believe, you know, Bradley Beal is fucking cooking, and he jumps up, he knocks down a really solid 3-point shot. And as he's coming down, the guy sticks his foot out. He steps on the guy's foot, rolls his ankle. I'm like, damn, that's my night. Oh, everything's gone. Fuck it, I'm dead. But he comes back. He goes to the locker room, some old Mr. Miyagi, and he comes back, and he fucking balls out. Bradley Beal had a hell of a game. He ended up leading the team in minutes with a sprained ankle. 40 minutes for him. He had 32 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block while shooting 57% from the field. Hit all 5 free throws and 3 of 5 3-point shots. Really solid game there. John Wall in 37 minutes had 19 and 6 rebounds to go with 10 assists and 1 block. Pretty decent game, but he did not shoot the ball very well. 6 of 17 for 35% from the field. He only hit 1 of the 3 3-point shots that he took, so it wasn't a great game there. But Bojan Bogdanovic, man, he off of the bench. He was second on the team in scoring behind Bradley Beal. He had 27 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. He had 8 3-point shots. Awesome shooting performance we saw from Bojan Bogdanovic. And that sounds like, looks like a guy who's happy to be the fuck away from the Brooklyn Nets. It just looks like a guy who's happy to be on a team that may make the playoffs. Otto Porter Jr. in 31 minutes, he snowflaked out. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Not a great game there from him. Markieff Morris, not a good one either. 31 minutes, he had 8 and 2 to go with 2 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Not a good game there. Brandon Jennings saw some action in tonight. 16 minutes for him. He had 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 7 assists. Also hit 1 of 3 field goals. Not a great game, but a solid fantasy game from him because he's so cheap around the industry. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Sacramento Kings at home against the Utah Jazz. This game did go into overtime. The game that I really didn't have much invested in did go into overtime, but that's fun as fuck. Gordon Hayward, he started off the game very slow, but due to the overtime and being able to get out there and play some extra minutes, he finished with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists while shooting 35% from the field, 2 for 7 from 3, and he did play 40 minutes. Now, we saw the game from Rodney Hood that we thought we were going to see the other night before he got scratched right before then. So the fact that, he burned us the other night, you've got to have a short memory. You can't let what happened the slate before totally dominate, your decision making with the next slate. Of course, take it into consideration. It should have been taken into consideration that this guy was just scratched from a game for a bruised knee. But the fact that he's playing and, with such a short slate, you should have had a piece of him. You really should. He played 35 minutes. He had 28 points, 4 rebounds, 2 steals while shooting 58% from the field, hit 4 of 8 3-point shots. Really solid game we saw from Rodney Hood. George Hill had a decent one in 39 minutes, 15 and 5 rebounds with 8 assists, 1 steal. He shot 28% from the field. Not a great shooting game at all. He took 14 shots and only hit 4. Not a great game from him shooting the ball, but a solid fantasy performance nonetheless. Rudy Gobert, the heat check player tonight, he led the team in minutes with 41 of them, and he had 24 rebounds to go at 16 points, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. That is why he was tonight's heat check player tonight. He shot 66% from the field like a big man should. Pretty solid game there we saw from Rudy Gobert. On the Sacramento side, we've got to talk about these guys. And Willie Cauley-Stein, man, he's somebody that I had in my lineups. I really liked the spot that he was in. He was a board shy of a double-double, 15 and 9 to go with 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. We saw a solid double-double from Costa Coopers at his price point, 12 and 10 to go with an assist and a block while shooting 41% from the field. Pretty nice game there from him. We saw a solid game from Ty Lawson, man. In 37 minutes, he had 19 and 4 to go with 5 assists while shooting 53% from the field. And Darren Collison, not a great game from him in 40 minutes. He led the team. He had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal. And Garrett Temple had a really solid game off of the bench. In 24 minutes, he had 11 and 2 to go with 4 assists and 3 steals at his very low price point. We saw Aaron Aflalo for 39 minutes with his sorry ass. He's the worst fucking player in the NBA. The worst. But tonight he has 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And see, that's the beauty of this shit, man, because just the fact that I hate Aaron Aflalo, I still got to pay attention to when this guy could have a solid game, especially on a 5-game slate when you need to roster guys that you wouldn't normally pay attention to. That's the nature of NBA fantasy. Next game I'm going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks at home blowing the doors off of the Oklahoma City Thunder. We saw a showcase of a tired hole in this game, and I'm talking about Russell Westbrook. He played 34 minutes, had 29 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. He shot 33% from the field, took 10 3-point shots, only took 2 of them. He did get to the line 13 times and converted 11 of those tries into points. But let's go ahead and put this in the proper perspective, man. This dude is asked to do so much. And, and especially from a DFS standpoint, at 13K, you were looking for another 90-point performance in order to be like, hell yeah, Russell Westbrook. And you just can't expect that night in and night out. There's going to be some games where you just can't play the guy. You just can't. And against the Dallas Mavericks, who actually do restrict the point guard position, I didn't see the need for much Russell Westbrook anyway. I just didn't see the need for it. Anthony Roberson in 23 minutes had 2 and 8 to go with 2 assists. That's Andre Roberson. Domantas Sabonis in 19 minutes had 3 and 7 to go with an assist. Steven Adams, 19 and 5 to go with an assist, a steal, and a block in his 25 minutes. And Enes Kanter doubled again off of the bench, just chugging along, doubling in 18 minutes. He had 16 and 10 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal. The dude is a point per minute monster. You've got to get him in your lineups. He's very solid guy, very solid player. On the Dallas Mavericks side, saw a nice game from Lobra. He led the team in scoring In 30 minutes, he had 22 and 1 rebound with 1 assist and 1 steal. That was solid. Dirk Nowitzki, a double-double in 30 minutes, 18 and 12 with 3 assists. And we saw some foul trouble for Nerlens Noel, man. He only played 16 minutes in this game, 13 and 5. Not a great game there from him. We saw a solid game from Harrison Barnes, 17 and 5 with 3 assists. And we saw 32 minutes of Wesley Matthews in the first game back from injury. He only scored 9 points, dished out 4 dimes, and stole the ball from somebody 3 times. Not a great game there from him. Not a great game there. Last game on the slate. And the late night hammer game was the LA Lakers defending Staples Arena against the New Orleans Pelicans. This is a fairly entertaining game throughout. Got to watch some of it on League Pass and then had to go back and watch the rest of it as a condensed game. But Anthony Davis, man, he did fall 1 rebound shy of a double-double bonus. He had 31 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, shooting 45% from the field. So that was a pretty decent shooting showing from him. But as a big man, we need you to get around 60%. We just do. He was 64% from the free throw. He took 17 of them and only hit 11. We need a better free throw shooting game from you as well. DeMarcus Cousins, he fouled out in 31 minutes, had 26 points, 15 boards, 2 assists to go with the block. Not a great game from him. He was 42% from the field as well. And it comes from shooting all these damn threes, man. He did hit 3 of them. He took 5. But get your ass down there and bang, man. And the fouling out, like, you got to recognize the situation that you're in, Boogie. I mean, there's a good chance that you could have lost this game with that last foul. So, not a great showing there from Boogie Cousins, man. We saw a nice one from Drew Holiday, a big double-double for him, 20 and 5 rebounds with 12 assists and 3 steals. He shot 58% for the field, hit 5 of 6 free throws, pretty solid one there. And Etuan Moore in 30 minutes had 13 and 1 rebound with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty solid game for him at that price point. And Solomon Hill in 33 minutes had 5 and 6 rebounds, scored 3 assists while shooting 25% for the field. He took 6 3-point shots and only hit 1 of them. Solomon Hill, come the fuck on, man. Shoot the ball better than that. On the LA Lakers side, Brandon Ingram in 39 minutes leading the team had a very solid game there. And the thing that I kind of like about Brandon Ingram was he was not timid. After that game that he had the other night where he just did not perform very well, I don't think the motherfucker scored 1 point the other night. But to come out and keep that confidence that that you need in order to play at this high level in NBA, I was very pleased with his performance. He had a very, very solid performance. Went out and in 39 minutes had 16 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, and 1 block. Saw a nice game from him. D'Angelo Russell, 16 and 4 to go with 7 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. And Jordan Clarkson off of the bench had 14 and 2 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. Did not see a great game from Julius Randle, although he did get 12 boards and dish out 6 dimes. He stole the ball 1 time and only had 5 points. We need more scoring from you in that situation. And Timothy Mozgov in 15 minutes had 8 and 5 with 1 assist. And Tyreek Black started the game, but he only played 16 minutes. He had 5 points and 6 boards, while Swaggy P jumped off and he played very well from behind the arc. 27 minutes for him. He had 19 points and 4 rebounds with the steal. He had 4 of 8 3-point shots. Some of those 3-point shots were late in the game when they needed to get back in it, but they just could not hold on to that. They could not keep the New Orleans Pelicans bigs from scoring down low. We're talking about Anthony Davis and a little bit of Boogie Cousins toward the end of the game. So now that we have recapped last night's NBA action, let's go ahead and jump into a very quick player pricing. Remember, this is an 11-game slate. There's a ton of shit to go over. So we're going to jump into that. And of course, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of slate recognition, see where we are from slate to slate, because I cannot tell you enough, how important it is to make lineups in different slates and throw them bitches in the main. Now, on a 12-game slate like today, now, I don't know how effective that's going to be because there's going to be so many games, and we need a solid turbo, like maybe a 5-6 game turbo, in order to really throw a lineup that I think is gonna contend with everybody else. But there's going to be so many different lineup combinations that I'm not sure how successful you can be, not playing the late slate, but making a lineup in the late and then throwing it in the main. You still may want to try it though. you still may want to try it. So we've got at 7 p.m. We've got the Monster 12 game slate jumps off. We've got a 2-game turbo at 7:30. We've got a 4-game turbo at 8. We've got another 4-game late at 8:30, and we've got a 3-game later at 9 o'clock. So my suggestion would be to make one in the late and in the turbo, and throw them bitches in the main and see what happens. You won't be disappointed. Cats are winning like that all the time. It happens all the time. So let's go ahead, jump into a quick player pricing. I can imagine we're going to have a few teams that could be on a back-to-back, just because. Okay, and we've got some high salaries here, but not to the point to where somebody's just taken off of the books. Like, guys, I just can't roster any. It's not like that. There's no 13K Westbrook on this slate, and James Harden, as you can see, is right here, the highest salaried guy on the slate, coming in at 11.5K, taking on the San Antonio Spurs. And I will say this and say this again: I am not afraid of the San Antonio Spurs point guard defense. I'm not afraid of it, and I think that makes James Harden at 11.5K definitely in play. We're looking at about 68 DraftKings points from him to return that 6x value, I believe. 69 is what we need from him to return that 6x value. That is definitely doable for James Harden. I like the spot that he is in. We're talking about LeBron James next. This is the game. This game just played. They just played this game a couple days ago, and that's where LeBron rested. The game was in Miami. So now the Miami Heat are going to Cleveland. So I do foresee LeBron showing up and having a very solid game, but at 11.2K, I would just rather pay up for James Harden than grab LeBron James. That's just me. That's just me. I would just rather pay for it. If I'm going to pay 11.2, I would rather just pay for James Harden. That's just me. Steph Curry at 10.4 is in a very solid spot against the Atlanta Hawks. We know we like to attack them. We like to attack them on the perimeter. I don't have a problem with him going up against Dennis Schroeder. I kind of like it even more, the fact that the Golden State Warriors are on the road going to Atlanta. If this game was at the Oracle, I wouldn't want a piece of it from Steph Curry's standpoint at all. But I think you can look to roster him tomorrow. Karl Anthony Towns at 10.3 is a play that I like tomorrow, although I do not like the price as much. 10.3 is a lot, and we need a big game from Karl Anthony Towns, which is definitely doable. But he's not one of my favorite center plays on the slate, just looking at it this way. Nikola Jokic at 10.1. That price is up on him just a bit. But going against the Sacramento Kings, Denver at home, I'm all about Jokic. I don't have a problem there. Giannis Antetokounmpo at 10K. Dude's going to have one of those games sooner or later, man. And I'm probably going to miss out on it because I just don't like him being at 10K. I don't like it. DeMarcus Cousins at 9.7 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in tomorrow. Kawhi Leonard at 9.6. The price is up on him. When Kawhi was 8.8, I was in love. But at 9.6, man, that's a lot to ask. That's definitely a lot to ask. But it's doable because it's Kawhi Leonard. Anthony Davis is not a play that I really like. I love Chris Paul tomorrow. This is one of the nationally televised games. It's going to give you that late night hammer at 9K. Going up against Isaiah Thomas defense. Yeah, Chris Paul is sort of a lock. Isaiah Thomas at 8.9. No for me. Kyrie at 8.9. No, not going to be against Dragic. I don't like that. Dame Lillard at 8.8 definitely deserves our consideration. I like him tomorrow. I would love it even more if this game was in Portland, but Dame still does play very well on the road, so I don't have a problem with that all there. Blake Griffin, we know we like to attack Boston Celtics rebounding the basketball, and generally when I say that, people automatically think center, but a lot of times the way to attack the Boston Celtics is with the power forward. Now, Blake Griffin was a core forward member the other night when he shat the bed. Maybe I was a slate early. Maybe I arrived at the party just a little bit early, and we see a solid game from Blake Griffin tomorrow at 8.7K. I am all about that. Jimmy Butler at 8.6 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in tomorrow. We know Kevin Durant is out. Marc Gasol is priced up to 8.3. Going against the Brooklyn Nets, man. Him and Brook Lopez are kind of similar players. They have similar playing styles. But the fact that the game is in Memphis really makes me want to get a piece of it because these guys play very well at home. I'm not sure if I want to do that with a guy like Marc Gasol. I may want to attack at a cheaper price point. Kemba Walker, need I say more? Charlotte at home. The hoes are back in Charlotte. I love Kemba tomorrow. 8.2K. This is now. I'm gonna let you know something. Charlotte Hornets. You know this is a small market team. These guys do not get national exposure on the regular. This game is the first of two nationally televised games tomorrow. Kemba Walker, the TNT crowd is going to be with the hoes in Charlotte. I love Kemba Walker tomorrow. I think he's going to have a very solid game. 8.2K going up against Jeff Teague defense at the Beehive on TV with the hoes. Charles Barkley's going to be there. Mike is probably going to be there because TNT is going to be there. When Mike is in the house, dude goes off. And I know this because I go to Charlotte Hornets games. I want to go to this game tomorrow. I might call out and get down there. Give me some Kemba tomorrow. I love him. Draymond Green at 8.2 is a player that I like. Even though this is the 5th ranked DVP against the power forward position, I still like Draymond Green tomorrow. I think they're going to go small, run them short. You're going to see them take fucking Dwight Howard completely off of the court. And it's going to be Draymond Green matched up a lot against Paul Millsap. I like that matchup. I think it's going to be a very solid play there. Mike Conley is priced up at 8.1K. We love to attack the Brooklyn Nets everywhere on the court. But again, at home, the Memphis Grizzlies at the Grindhouse, I do want a piece of this game, but I think I want to go a little bit cheaper when it comes to the Memphis Grizzlies side. Andre Drummond is not a play that I am particularly interested in because the Hacker Drummond shit. I can't get over it. The dude that had 50 fucking points with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I need him to stay out there, and they keep hacking them, and then he gets taken out of the game. So any pussy coach that they play, and Chicago coach is one of those guys, he will do the Hacker Drummond shit. And so fuck that. I'm not playing him. Paul George is sizzling right now. 7.9K. Let me tell you something. The Charlotte Hornets, as I said, I watch these guys a lot. They are shitty against small forwards that can also play the 2 guard spot. Those guys that are kind of pointy forward guys like Paul George, they are shitty against those people. Paul George, coming off a really solid game, he's on the back-to-back. I think he can have a nice one in Charlotte on national television. I think this is going to be a very good game to target. 7.9K is the price. Not a big price. We can look to Paul George tomorrow. Definitely. Carmelo Anthony is another play that I do like at 7.8K. I don't normally like to roster these guys. I hate rostering Carmelo Anthony. I hate it. But tomorrow, matched up against somebody like Terrence Ross, you know, he's gonna ball. He's gonna have a nice game. 7.8. I like the price on him. Hassan Whiteside is priced down at 7.7K. And you know what? I'm not in love with the matchup against Tristan Thompson, but a guy like this, man, Hassan Whiteside, he can ball. He can really, bust that 7.7 wide open into value for you. So you've got to take a look at that too. Kevin Love, he's out. CJ McCollum at 7.6 is not a play that I really like tomorrow. Andrew Wiggins also is not a play that I'm interested in. I love Gordon Hayward at 7.5K. Going up against a guy like Solomon Hill. I have no problem with Gordon Hayward tomorrow. Paul Millsap is likable, but I probably won't have much exposure to him. I am not on Dario Saric tomorrow at 7.4K. Vooch will probably play, and when he does, you can fire him up. 7.3K, he destroys the Knicks. I like Vucevic tomorrow. Klay Thompson, if I had to go anywhere in that Golden State game, it would be Klay Thompson. I love Klay Thompson at 7.3 tomorrow. I think the price is just up on him enough to where people will not want to be on him. They're going to see him, and they're going to see Nicholas Batum, and they're going to see Gordon Dragic, and they're going to be like, yeah, I'll just take these guys other than Klay Thompson. And I think you can get him at very low ownership, which does not matter as much on the 12-game slate, but it does matter in some spots. Nick Batum at 7.2 is a player that I really like too. I like Nick Batum tomorrow. Again, nationally televised game. These guys don't normally get to play in that sort of spotlight, and they're waiting for that. They want to bring notice to how good the Charlotte Hornets are or can be. So I like that. Goran Dragic against Kyrie Irving defense. I don't have to say anything else about that. 7.1K. I love him. Jeff Teague, even though the Hornets are the 7th ranked team in the league against the point guard position, I do like Jeff Teague tomorrow at 7.1K. That is a really solid price on the guy that has 50-point upside. Rudy Gobert, coming off of that game last night, A lot of people are gonna want to be on Rudy Gobert tomorrow. I will not be one of those people. I don't like it at 7K. I'm not doing that. Why would I would just pay down against this to DeAndre Jordan in a better, I think was a better matchup at 7K, and as a late night hammer that's probably going to see less ownership. Then this guy's probably going to be upwards of 15% owned in a 12-game slate because of the game that he had last night. Robert Covington at 7K. I kind of like that. You can give me a piece of that. Drew Holiday at 6.9. I do not play point guards like that against the Utah Jazz. I just don't want to do it. Chris Stapps at 6.9. He definitely deserves consideration from us tomorrow. Frank Kaminsky is questionable. I don't think he plays tomorrow at 6.9K. If he does play, I still don't want him. Not coming back over that first game of injury. Yusuf Nurkic is a fraud, and at 6.8K, you can do that if you want to. I'm not fucking with it. Last time they played the Brooklyn Nets, I said, and I quote, Brook Lopez will outscore Yusuf Nurkic, and that's exactly what's happening. This dude should not be priced up to 6.8K. That 50-point game, 55-point game was an aberration. It's not going to happen again. Dwight Howard at 6.7. There's no reason for us to roster Dwight Howard tomorrow. Golden State Warriors are going to go small. We're going to see 22 minutes of Dwight Howard, and he's not going to make value. Dwayne Wade is questionable, 6.7K. If he does play, I don't like him. Ricky Rubio is a player that I do like at 6.7. You know we can attack the Portland Trailblazers on the perimeter, especially with the Minnesota Timberwolves at home. And I really wish that the Timberwolves had a solid shooting guard because I love to play shooting guards and or point guards against the Portland Trailblazers. But they've got Brandon Rush, and that dude fucking sucks. He's just not very good. LaMarcus Aldridge at 6.6 is not a play that I really like tomorrow. I do like George Hill at 6.6. The price is still fair on him. Chris Middleton is priced up at 6.5. This is a 7K player though, when he's completely healthy. When Chris Middleton is healthy, and we know he is, I mean we don't know he is, but when we do know that he is healthy, he's a 7K player. So you can take a shot on that. I think that's gonna thin out that ownership a little bit because while he was 5.3, 5.5, he was a fucking no brainer. But this is gonna give you a little pause. At 6.5K, going against the Philadelphia 76ers at home, that 6.5K is gonna give you just enough pause to where we don't see, mega chalk numbers when it comes to the Chris Middleton ownership. Dennis Schroeder, 6.4K. I'm not afraid of Steph Curry defense. I kind of, if I once we look at the point totals of this game and I see where they have the points, that's when I'm going to make some determinations when it comes to this Golden State and the Atlanta Hawks game. Next is Zebo. I love him tomorrow. I love Zebo tomorrow. Let me tell you this, man. This dude is like the most beloved Memphis Grizzly in Memphis. They love this dude, and when he gets in the game, the fucking crowd goes nuts because they love Zach Randolph. He is a fan favorite. He feeds off the energy of the crowd, and whenever he is at home in a super plus matchup like he is in now, that could end up being like a blowout, depending on how well he plays. 6.4K. I think that's a fair price. I like Zach Randolph tomorrow. Derrick Rose at 6.3. Now, we know, attacking these guys, the Orlando Magic at the point guard position, is not always a very good proposition. Now, today, the Orlando Magic took on the Washington Wizards in D.C. Well, the Magic are home tonight, and they're going to be facing Derrick Rose, and I don't want to do that. I'm not going to pay 6.3K for a guy like Derrick Rose in this type of matchup. I don't want it. Greg Monroe is in play at 6.2. You can look at him. Brook Lopez is probably going to be the most contrarian, sneaky center play on the board, and the dude is still fucking cheap at 6.1K. I like Brook Lopez tomorrow. I do. I think that is a very solid contrarian play. Danilo Gallinari at 6.1. Of course, he's in play tomorrow. Marcus Morris is somebody who I have a ton of interest in at 6.1K. He's going to be seeing some Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler is not the defender that he's been in years past. I like him. Miles Turner at 6K. You know we can attack the Charlotte Hornets rebounding the basketball, especially if, since Frank Kaminsky is out and we're going to be seeing Cody Zeller for limited minutes. You might get 20 minutes of Christian Wood matched up against Miles Turner. That is a murder in progress. I like that. Also, Wilson Chandler, if he does start for Kenneth Reed, I think Kenneth Reed should be out. If he starts, Sacramento Kings, you gotta like Wilson Chandler at home. 6K is a salary. I'm all about that. Dion Waiters is not a play that I'm particularly interested in, and it's not the matchup. The matchup is good. It's not the price. The price is decent. He just had a shitty game last time out, and he's one of those streaky guys. He reminds me of KCP. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, he's not. And I don't think he heats up tomorrow. Paul Gasol at 5.9K is interesting, but I think Dedmon has been getting the starts, and for that, if I wanted to go center on the San Antonio side of this game, that's where I'd go. I'd go to Dedmon. Excuse me. Alfred Payton at 5.9. He is in play against my New York Knicks. Definitely. Willie Hernangomez is not a play that I'm particularly interested in tomorrow. Al Horford, he should be back tomorrow against the LA Clippers. I don't want him anyway. James Johnson, I've been rolling with James Johnson for the last few slates, man. And, I think that he's definitely in play tomorrow at 5.8. I like him. I like him. Kentavious Caldwell Pope at 5.8 is in play for us tomorrow. Tyler Johnson is in play at 5.7. I do like Jay Crowder at 5.7. Darren Collison, we can attack the Denver Nuggets on the perimeter easily. So I like Darren Collison at 5.7, but I like Ty Lawson even more. Marvin Williams is a play that I do have interest in because we do have those injuries to the Charlotte Hornets front court. I like him. Terrence Ross could cook my Knicks at 5.7. He's going to be seeing some Carmelo Anthony defense, which is no defense at all. I don't like Derek Favors tomorrow. Tobias Harris deserves consideration. I am not on Evan Fournier. Alfred Aminu is a play that I'm not particularly interested in. Neither is Maurice Harkless. I do like Aaron Gordon at 5.5. Malcolm Brogdon, if he gets to start at 5.5, that price is kind of fair, but he's going to be going against TJ McConnell. I would much rather take TJ McConnell at home in the same matchup. Tyreek Evans probably is going to play tomorrow. If he does, I do like him. Cody Zeller, we need to find out if he is on that minutes restriction. If he is, I don't like him. If he's not, I do. TJ McConnell, of course, at 5.4 is in a tough matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks, but I don't have a problem with him tomorrow. Jameer Nelson at 5.5. Thank God that price is down on just a little bit. If he does get to start, I do like him tomorrow. Avery Bradley is probably going to be out. Well, no, he's probably going to play because he rested today. Marcus Smart at 5.3 deserve consideration. Near Lou Williams at 5.2. That price is a little bit more palatable. Because when Sweet Lou was approaching 7K, I couldn't do it. But now at 5.2, I think that's something that we can take consideration. Gary Harris, he disappeared the last game out, and for that, I won't be fucking with him against the Sacramento Kings either. Rashawn Holmes at 5.2 is not a player that I really like. I do like Will Barton at 5.1. Dude can come off of the bench and really heat it up. He's priced down. I like that. Gorgie Jang, I do like him at 5.1 as well. I don't like Michael K. Gilchrist. Willie Cauley-Stein, he does deserve consideration against Jokic because Jokic is not a great defender, and I can see Willie Cauley-Stein, putting together a nice double-double at that price point. Pat Bev at 5K. Like I said, I'm not scared of the San Antonio's perimeter defense, so I can use him. Reggie Jackson, no, don't do it. Tristan Thompson is no for me. Tony Allen, yes, at 5K. I do like Tim Hardaway Jr. at 5K. His dad played for the Golden State Warriors, so he does have a history with the area, with the team. I do like Tim Hardaway tomorrow. Courtney Lee at 5K deserves consideration, as well as Andre Iguodala at 5K. Bobby Portis, no. Clint Capella, no. Rajon Rondo is a no for me. JaMychal Green does deserve consideration at 4.8K. And if I was going to go anywhere in this Brooklyn-Memphis game, it would be either JaMychal Green or Zach Randolph. If I have like 4.8 laying around after I get everybody else who I really like, I would play JaMychal Green. I would definitely do it. Ish Smith, he deserves consideration at 4.8. The price is still cheap on him. He's going to see a ton of minutes. Gino Okafor probably is going to play tomorrow. If he does, I still don't like him. Jeremy Lin is a no for me. Trevor Booker, I kind of like Trevor Booker at 4.7. John Lure, no, not for me. Michael Beasley probably won't play tomorrow. Kent Bazemore, no. Evan Turner's out. Ty Lawson, yes, at 4.6. Give me some of that Ty Lawson, baby. Pour them all on me. I like that. Nikolai Mirotic at 4.6 is a no for me. Ronnie Hollis Jefferson is a no for me. Michael Carter Williams, no. Ryan Anderson, yes, at 4.5. Rodney Hood is still cheap at 4.5. He is in a tough shooting guard matchup, but I still like him. I still like Rodney Hood tomorrow. Carlo Quinn at 4.5 is a no for me. Channing Frye probably will continue to get the start for Kevin Love. I don't like him anyway. Joe Ingles is a no for me. Deron Williams 4.4. I kind of like that at 4.4 because he's going to be matched up against the second team with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I don't have a problem with that. Mason Plumlee is a no for me. Eric Gordon at 4.3. That price is going down on Eric Gordon. I kind of like him tomorrow. No Trevor Ariza. Thaddeus Young is a no for me. Kenneth Reed is questionable. Probably will not play tomorrow. I like JJ Redick at 4.3. I do like that. There's no Avery Bradley. He's going to be matched up against the young kid, Jaylen Brown. He can shoot the deep jump shot. That's going to be sort of a late night hammer for you. I like that. I even like Josh Richardson at 4.3 against the Miami Heat. Kyle Korver is a no for me. Robin Lopez is a no. Monte Ellis, shooting guards destroy the Charlotte Hornets. 4.2K is a it's high because you can go to 3.8 and get the guy that's starting in this game. But I do think Monte Ellis does deserve consideration if you don't think CJ Miles is going to have a great game or a good game. Jamal Murray at 4.2 deserves consideration from us. I like him. Nobody healed for me tomorrow. Jaylen Brown at 4.2. The price is still low. I can get with that. Ersan Ilyasova is a no at 4.1. Tony Parker, man, this dude is cheap as shit, 4.1K. But matched up against Patrick Beverly, man, I just don't see the upside in Tony Parker. It's going to give me 30 for 35 points. I don't see it there. Jaja at 4.1. I don't really love that too much. Derek Williams is a no for me. Terrence Jones, if he is for sure making his debut with the Bucks at 4K, I don't have a problem with that. Sean Kilpatrick at 4K. I do have interest in Sean Kilpatrick at that price. The coaches son at 4K. I kind of like that as well. Kelly Olynyk is a no. Nick Stauskas at 4K. He's probably going to get a start in place of Gerald Henderson because I don't think Gerald Henderson is going to be playing tomorrow. But I don't want too much stuff. Justin Anderson is the play there. At 4K, I like the spot that Justin Anderson is in. Lance Thomas is a no. Moutier is a no. Cephalosha, no. Dellavedova deserves consideration. Dwayne Dedmon, if he's starting tomorrow, he's a play that I absolutely love. 3.9K, that is a very cheap price point in a super plus matchup against the Houston Rockets. Give me some of that Dwayne Dedmon if he is getting to start tomorrow. I'm going to go out and compile that information. I'm not playing Namya Bielita at 3.9K. I'm just not going to do it. Jamal Crawford deserves consideration at 3.8. CJ Miles is sitting here at 3.8, ready to cook on the Charlotte Hornets. I don't have a problem with him at all. Nina Hilario has been seeing very solid minutes lately. However, I'd much rather just play Dedmon, the guy who I know is going to be starting to see all the minutes in the same game. Jared Henderson, like I said, probably won't play tomorrow. Amir Johnson at 3.8 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in. Karis LeVert at 3.8 deserves consideration, definitely. And anytime a guy's that cheap and has the upside to get 30 points, you got to take a look at him. Juancho is a no. Scal Labissiere at 3.8 is not a play that I'm particularly interested in tomorrow. Danny Green, 3.7, yes, deserves consideration. Garrett Temple, he did play, but he's not going to play tomorrow, I believe. He played today, but I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. Costa Cooper's at 3.7. I kind of like that, where he's at. Alec Burks, 3.7. This game could blow out. We have to check the point totals to get a much sharper look on that. Patty Mills is in play for me. Matt Barnes, 3.5. Yes, that's a very cheap price for Matt Barnes. Give me some of that Matt Barnes tomorrow. Marco Bellinelli, yes, at 3.5. If you're looking for that cheap punt play at the shooting guard / small forward position, I think you can look to Marco Bellinelli. Raymond Felton is a no. Jeff Green does deserve consideration at 3.5. Tony Douglas, yes, at 3.5. He deserves consideration as well. So we've got a ton of great plays on this slate, bro. Jeremy Lamb is at 3.4. We can look at him. Got a ton of great plays on this slate, man. So I really envision this being a very profitable slate for us tomorrow. I think we're going to come out smoking and start the week off super right. But let's go ahead and find that 3K play of the day. The guy that is 3K that we can look at and lean on. First things first, if for some reason Vucevic don't play, this dude's going to be the highest owned 3K motherfucker you ever seen. He's just going to go through the roof. Bismack, he's going to be very high, you know. Now, Al Jefferson is a player that I kind of like going back to Charlotte. He played with the Indiana Pacers. Lavoy Allen may not play in this game. I think we can look to him as a very cheap salary-saving option at the center spot. DJ Augustine deserves consideration there. Maybe some Rodney Stuckey in the Indiana-Charlotte game. Nah, Rodney McGruder, if they still got him starting at 3K, you can rock with him. Maybe some Terry Rozier at 3K, Glenn Robinson the third at 3K. We got a few 3K guys that we may be able to get into our lineups and really have a solid return on a very small investment. Luke Mbamute at 3K is there. Malcolm Delaney is there at 3K in case this game does blow out. But there's a guy that I kind of looked at earlier that I think can be in a very solid spot and really return a solid value. And this is provided that that game does blow out, because once we check the point totals, I'm gonna be able to see if the Golden State and the Atlanta Hawks game is in fact going to be a blowout. And if that's the case, man, I think Torian Prince sees a lot of minutes off of the bench at 3K. I kind of like him tomorrow. I kind of like this. I have a feeling that he's going to be a solid 3K play, maybe the 3K play of the day. So now let's go ahead and get the logo back popping, and then we can jump into a very brief point total review because what we've done already here, we have, whether you see, you riding with me and don't even know what you're doing. I got you doing some exclusive shit. What we just did together, we established a player pool. We established my player pool. So now you know all the guys that I am going to be on. My core four will come from most likely some of the guys that we mentioned on tonight's show. That's what my core is going to play. And the guys that I mix and match around them are going to come from the actual player pool. That's what we just did. We just set it all up together, you and I. So, baby Sprite. Let's go ahead and do a really quick rundown of the actual games on the slates and the point totals, because we need to find out what these spreads look like. And I think we've got all the spreads. We got a lot of the spreads, so we can do this right now. The Miami Heat are going to Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. Like I said, this game should have played the other day. Well, LeBron should have played the other day. LeBron and Kyrie, both of them did not play. 215.5 points is the total. The Cleveland Cavaliers are giving up 8 points to the Miami Heat. The only guy that I really, really love in this game is going to be Goran Dragic. I love him against Kyrie Irving. I think that's a very solid way to start your lineups. Also, I've been rocking with James Johnson for quite some time. I think he can definitely have a solid game. And you've got to give some consideration to Whiteside at 7.7K. That's a very cheap price for a guy that has 50, sometimes 60-point upside. LeBron James, we talked about him already. The price point he's at, man, I think I just pay up for hard. Every time that I have LeBron in, because I'm gonna make something, I'm gonna be like, oh damn, I got LeBron. I'm start off with LeBron. If I have like 200 left, I'm not gonna stay on LeBron. I'm going up to James Harden. You know what I mean? Because I just think he has more upside in this particular matchup. It's a 215.5 point total, and see, the fact that I'm saying that makes me want to make some fucking LeBron lineups and just stick with him. So maybe that's, I don't know, but very hard to gauge. Kyrie's not a player that I really like in this game. Fry deserves consideration. Also, maybe we see something solid from Tristan Thompson. But man, something is just telling me that a Cleveland stack tomorrow is not going to be what I want to do. Next game I'm talking about is the New York Knicks going to Orlando. My New York Knicks to take on the Magic. This is a 210-point total with only a 1.5 being given up in this game. The Orlando Magic are the home favorite. They're giving up a 1.5 to my New York Knicks. I love Middleton. I think he has going to have a solid game. I think Chris Stapps deserves consideration. I like Terrence Ross in this game on the Orlando side. I think you can also rock with Vucevic if he does play. If not, fire Biyombo up. Aaron Gordon would also be a more solid play if we don't see Vucevic. If Vucevic plays, I don't like Aaron Gordon as much. Actually, I don't like him at all if Vucevic plays tomorrow. Derrick Rose is a no for me. Definitely, I'm not going to be fucking with Derrick Rose tomorrow. I think we can maybe look to Courtney Lee in some spots tomorrow as a cheap salary saving option at the shooting guard position. Next game I'm going to talk about is a 212.5 point total. Pretty good point total so far, man. All of them are over 210. Milwaukee Bucks going to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. The Bucks are giving up 3 points to the Sixers on this game. Like I said, it's a 212-point total. Giannis, man, I have a feeling like I'm gonna miss out on that Giannis game just because he's still priced up, man. 10K is a lot to pay for a cat that's gonna go out and get you 30 points some night. Like fuck that, man. I want you to have like a 45 floor and a 75 ceiling before I can consider paying 10K for you regularly. And for that reason, I will not be on Giannis tomorrow. Terrence Jones may make his debut as a Milwaukee Buck tomorrow. We can stick and stay close to Twitter and the social media sites so we can keep up on that. Dellavedova and those guys, I don't want to roster those guys. I think the slate is too big for me to waste time on a guy that probably is not going to hit value, and I know it already. Greg Monroe is definitely somebody you consider in this matchup up against the Philadelphia 76ers front court. They are not very good. Rashawn Holmes is a no for me on the Philadelphia side. Saric is a no. I kind of do like Robert Covington. He's probably going to be matched up a lot with Giannis, so that defensive usage is going to be there for him. He's going to be on the court, getting those steals, getting those rebounds, shooting the deep three-point shot. So I like him. TJ McConnell is somebody who I am going to be considering. I'm not afraid of Malcolm Brogdon defense at all. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Golden State Warriors going to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, surprisingly, it's only a 214-point total, with the Golden State Warriors giving up 6, and they have been struggling with teams lately. You know, without Kevin Durant, the team has a kind of different makeup. They didn't go back to what they were before Kevin Durant. You know, they kind of took a step back as they got Kevin Durant. So I don't think we see the same play that we saw from these guys before Durant got there last year. And the fact that this game is slated to be sort of close is making me think about, who I would like. Because if you tell me this game is going to be close and it's going to score 214 points and the Golden State is going to win by 6, that means I'm going to see some Steph Curry in the fourth quarter. If that's the case, you can give me some of that. Like I already said, I like Klay Thompson. I think Draymond can have a solid game. As far as the cheaper options from Golden State, Matt Barnes is somewhere you might want to look, or Andre Iguodala. On the Atlanta side, I don't want anything to do with Dwight Howard in this game. I think Paul Millsap's going to be the play from this game on the Atlanta side. Dennis Schroeder, I'm not afraid at all about defense, the perimeter defense of the Golden State Warriors, specifically Steph Curry. I don't worry about him at all. So I think you can have your way with rostering a guy like Dennis Schroeder. I don't have a problem with that at all. Ken Bazemore, no, don't do that. Thabo Sefolosha, don't do that. Not too much else I like on the Atlanta side. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Chicago Bulls going to Detroit. This is a very low, one of the lowest point totals on the slate. It's a 208-point total. Detroit Pistons giving up 4 points. The only guy that I really like from the Detroit side is Marcus Morris. I think he's going to have a really nice one tomorrow. And I like Marcus Morris. Andre Drummond could be a solid play, but like I said, I have a personal thing against him because he cannot shoot free throws, and I don't need to roster anybody that can be taken out of the game at a moment's notice, deep into the fourth quarter when you need him the most. So I won't be rostering him. I'm not too high on Dwayne Wade or Jimmy Butler, but I do like KCP on the other side. KCP, Tobias Harris, and Marcus Morris are the guys that I like from Detroit. On the Chicago side, there's really not too much for me to like. Because if I like Jimmy Butler, then I start to like other guys. And I don't like Jimmy Butler in this matchup. I just don't. Next game we're talking about is the Indiana Pacers going to Charlotte to take on the Hornets. It's a 210-point total, with the Charlotte Hornets giving up 3.5 to the Indiana Pacers. So that means the Charlotte Hornets are a home favorite. That is okay with me. I love Kemba in this spot. We talked about him. This being a small market team on national TV. The TNT crew is going to be presiding over this game. So I think these guys are going to come and play. I like this game a lot. Honestly, this whole game I like a lot. But to speak, in specifics about certain guys I like, I'm going to start with Kemba Walker, man, on the Charlotte side. And on the Indiana side, of course, I like Paul George. I love Paul George tomorrow. T deserves consideration. So does Batum. Maybe some Marvin Williams in certain spots. You can also look to Miles Turner being matched up against a hobbled Charlotte Hornets front court. I don't have a problem with him there. CJ Miles is somebody who I like for the cheap at 3.8K to attack the Charlotte Hornets at the shooting guard position. Maybe if you want to get a little more expensive and a little more erratic, you can jump on a guy from the Indiana Pacers like Monte Ellis. But I would rather go whoever's starting because Ellis is probably not going to start. We're probably going to see a lot of CJ Miles. I'm going to go there. Even Stuckey at 3K is somebody that you can look at, definitely. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Brooklyn Nets going to Memphis to the Grindhouse to take on the Grizzlies. This is the largest point total, the largest point spread on the slate, where the Brooklyn Nets are getting 12 points from the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, they're at the Grindhouse. It's a 213.5 point total. That's telling me that we're going to see a fair amount of scoring on the Memphis side. And just looking at the point totals, Conley is priced up. Yeah. Gasol is priced up, yeah, but these guys are in juicy matchups, bro. They're very juicy matchups, and Zebo and Jermichael Green and Tony Daniels and Allen, Tony Allen. Like these guys are in really really good matchups. We can just about target any position we want to when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets and come out smelling like a rose. So I'm gonna have guys from Memphis sprinkled in certain lineups. I'm gonna have a few of the guys. Now the Brooklyn Nets, they're probably one of the like weirdest teams in basketball. They remind me of the Spurs. Not that they're good or anything, but because everybody gets 30 minutes. Like everybody just you never know who the fuck is gonna be the one that's gonna go out and play well. And I think the fact that I don't know, I just can't gauge who's gonna play well. But I do want a piece of a 213.5 point total. I do want a piece of a 12-point underdog because it could swing the ownership. I do, and the guy's only 6.1K. We talked about him earlier. I like Brook Lopez tomorrow. I'm gonna play him some. Next game we're talking about is the Portland Trailblazers going to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. This is a 213-point total, with the Minnesota Timberwolves giving up 4 points. They are the home favorite. They could see another Dame game, 8.8K, not a bad price for him. I don't like CJ McCollum very much. And I said initially that I didn't like Al-Farouq Aminu, but I kind of like Aminu. Now that I look at the point total, it's only a 4-point game. He's coming off the bench playing solid minutes. I kind of like that more than I like Maurice Harkless, who is actually getting a start. Nurkic is not a player that I'm very interested in. On the Minnesota side, could you stack these guys? Could you roll out a Rubio? Cat, and Jang line, or Rubio, Cat, and Wiggins line? Of course you can. Of course you can. Yes, you can do that without a doubt. Going against the Portland Trailblazers, man, you can do that. Especially when they're at home, I don't have a problem with that at all. Next game we're talking about is the Houston Rockets going to San Antonio to take on the Spurs. This is the highest point total on the slate. It's a 220.5 point total, with the San Antonio Spurs giving up 4 points to the Houston Rockets. So the Houston Rockets are on the road. They are road dogs. Give me some of that James Harden. I like him tomorrow. I think we can also look to Lou Williams off of the bench at 5.2. I don't have a problem with that at all. Clint Capella is not out of the realm of possibility for me, but if I had to roster a center on either side of this game, it's going to be Dwayne Dedmon at 3.9K. Dude gets to start, he's going to ball out. I like that, definitely. Danny Green is somebody who I like. I also think we can look at Kawhi Leonard being matched up against Trevor Ariza. That's going to be a problem for him. So this is going to be a very solid game. This is a battle for Texas, man. Houston Rockets going to San Antonio to take on the Spurs. Pretty solid game we're going to see tomorrow. That's a 8:30 game, I believe, too. Next game we're going to talk about is the Sacramento Kings going to Denver to take on the Nuggets. This is a 219-point total, and actually this is the highest point spread on the slate because the Denver Nuggets are giving up 13 points to the Sacramento Kings. So that's telling me 219 points. You got a 13-point swing on the Denver side. That means a bunch of Denver motherfuckers are going to be scoring, and I like guys that are cheap over there. Like we're talking about Will Barton off of the bench, just coming in and really playing well. I can look at that. As far as the starters go, you can take a look at a guy like Jokic is probably in play, and we can just play Jokic in this matchup without any hesitation. I do like him. Wilson Chandler, if he gets to start because we don't see Kenneth Reed, definitely fire him up. Even some Gallinari in spots, I kind of like that. The only thing I don't really love about the Denver side is the actual perimeter play. I don't think I want to roster Gary Harris. I don't think I want to roster Jameer Nelson. If I have to, because things open up the way they do sometimes during the day, then I will. But initially, just looking at it, those are guys I don't want to roster. If I had to go anywhere, if my choosing when it comes to the Denver Nuggets, I would go in the front court. That's where I would try to make my business at. On the Sacramento side, Ty Lawson, yes, we can attack these guys. Ty Lawson or Collison, you can attack the Denver Nuggets on the perimeter, especially at the shooting guard position. I have no problem with that at all. As far as big go, the only ones that I kind of like is going to be, because he's still fairly cheap, so it'll be Willie Cauley-Stein. Next game we talk about is the New Orleans Pelicans going to Utah, to Salt Lake City to take on the Jazz. This is the lowest point total on the slate. It is a 197-point total, with the Utah Jazz giving up 7.5 points. And because the point total is so very low, a lot of cats are not going to want to fuck with this game. And I think there's some hidden gems in here. We talk about the Utah Jazz. Gordon Hayward at 7.5K. Very fair price for him. Rudy Gobert coming off of that big game. He's going to see an increase in ownership, but I don't think that's the way you go. I kind of like Derek Favors in this game, matched up against Boogie and or AD. He's going to be on the floor a lot. I kind of like that. We can also look to George Hill, matched up against Drew Holiday, who's not a very solid defender. I don't like Drew Holiday. George Hill is a good defender. The Utah Jazz do play very good team defense at home. There's not much that I really want to fuck with from the New Orleans side. Actually, I think I'm going to do a all-out. No, I'm not going to call that yet. I'm gonna do some investigation, but I just don't like a lot of the New Orleans guys right now. In this particular matchup in Utah. Last game on the slate, the late night hammer game, the game that everybody's going to want to have a guy in to help you, to catapult you past guys that are standing there idle with no players left, didn't have a late night hammer. You're going to want one. And this is the Boston Celtics going to LA Clippers. They're at the Staples Center. This is a 216-point total, with the Clippers only giving up 5 points. Kind of a modest point spread, not a huge spread to deal with. And for that reason, I do think Chris Paul is definitely in play. We can see 4 solid quarters of him. I do like DeAndre Jordan, but I would love to attack Boston rebounding the basketball with Blake Griffin. That is where I would love to attack them, because he didn't have a great game out last time. Not a lot of people really want to be on him. They see DeAndre Jordan sitting there for cheaper, so they'll probably jump on that. And I don't have a problem with that at all, because we know that Chris Paul looks for DeAndre Jordan. He looks for him all the time. On the Boston Celtics side, a lot of people just are going to disagree with me, but I don't like Isaiah Thomas tomorrow. I know the price isn't up as much as it had been a few weeks ago, and Chris Paul is not just playing lights out point guard defense, but something telling you about tomorrow, I do not like him. I don't think that he's going to go out and score a ton of fantasy points. I don't think he's going to return that 5-6x value that we want at that high dollar price point. We may see Avery Bradley, which is going to suck a little bit of that usage away when it comes to running the offense together. Also, you look at the bigs in the Boston game, man, and we got to see if Al Horford is going to play. Because if Al Horford does play, then that kind of helps the point total a little bit. I think it's going to boost it up maybe, or even bring that spread to where this is going to be a really close game down the stretch, and we see a full allotment of minutes for everybody involved. That is my hope for the late night hammer game. This has been your DFS Jerusalem. You can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. There are many, many ways for you to support the show, and I'm so glad that you found the very best way by going ahead, man, liking, subscribing, being with me from day one on the YouTube. Thank you to the YouTube family that's been here since day one. I appreciate you immensely. If you'd like to support the show further, there's a box over there. It says support the show. Go ahead and click that motherfucker. Let it take you where it needs to take you. Also, we've got 5 days left in our booster order for you to go ahead and cop your DFS Sweatshop swag. There's going to be a link to that in the bottom of this video. We got 5 days left. Go ahead and order your shirt, your t-shirts, and if you wanted to become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop, you can go ahead to the website at www.dfssweatshop.com. That is where you receive all of our tips, our tricks, our tutelage, everything that's going to make you a profitable player. And to all the guys that just joined, man, be sure to watch the tutorial videos. I made those for you for a reason. Make sure you get in the Facebook group. Make sure you are active. Make sure you are paying attention to the cheat sheets that we send you, the player pool with the pricing and the everything. Make sure that you're looking at everything and you're using all of the tools that are at your disposal. You've got to do that. I can't tell you enough how important each section of the tools, and plus we work hard on that shit, man. So patronize us and read it and pay attention, and let's get this money. But the number one thing I want you to do when you're in the sweatshop is keep it 300.